It's time now to talk sports. We begin with the results of the FA Cup games last night. In the English FA Cup, Chelsea survived a scare on Wednesday as they came from behind twice to beat Luton Town 3-2. Chelsea, Loni, Saul, Niguez, Timo Werner, Romelu Lukaku, all of them scored to make it 3-2. In other games, Liverpool beat Norwich City 2-1, Southampton beat West Ham 3-1, and Middlesbrough surprisingly beat Tottenham 1-0. All right, and of course, Chelsea owner Abramovich has put the club up for sale now at about £3 billion, with a focus on finding a U.S. tycoon buyer after Swiss medical magnate confirmed he's among those in talks to buy the European champions. The Chelsea owner has decided to sell the club following increased scrutiny in the wake of invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The Chelsea owner is reported to have links with the current Russian President Vladimir Putin. Reports say that Abramovich's link with the Russian regime has caused so much destruction in Ukraine and could lead to reluctance from interested parties to deal with Chelsea. Well, at this point, let me bring in Bronson Owana, who joins me live now to, of course, do a review of the FA Cup results and then, of course, talk about the region issue in England at the moment, which is that Chelsea has been put up for sale. Bronson, very pleased to see your face this beautiful Thursday morning. First of all, let us begin with the FA Cup results. Chelsea, despite all the noise, came from behind twice to beat Luton Town 3-2.
Yes, you must understand that Chelsea, they are in a very difficult period, a very challenging week, must be said. Last weekend, they lost out the chance of winning the first trophy in England for the year, the Carabao Cup, and they went down to the wire. And no thanks to Kepa Arrizabalaga, who lost that all-important final shootout to have sent it to a tie break. But good one for them. Returned back again to a winning ways, even though it was a hard-fought victory against Luton Town, who just came from League One last season to the Championship. You think that it was going to be an easy ride for them, but that wasn't what we saw last night. Chelsea, with all the arrays of stars, still had to dig deep to beat them in the 77th minute. But guess what? I think that was good enough to, break the pressure that the club is in right now. It was a good one for them.
Well, if you say it's surprising, football, anything can happen. Middlesbrough beating Tottenham Hotspur 1-0.
That was shocking, really shocking for Tottenham Hotspur. As a matter of fact, I thought that Antonio Conte should be fighting for at least a trophy. So, it worries me about Tottenham because this goes to collaborate what Jose Mourinho has been saying about the attitude and character of these Tottenham players. They seem to be satisfied with playing mid-level football, struggle on qualifying for, especially now the Conference League. So it's a mentality thing. We know Conte and Mourinho and the kind of philosophy they represent. Tottenham players have not been able to replicate that on the pitch of play. So I feel pity for them. I don't see them winning any title in the next 5 years. When that happens, call my attention to it. But overall, I think it was a sad loss for them because they should have been in the quarterfinals by now.
And the other game as well, Southampton, of course, beat West Ham United 3-1. Were you surprised too by the result?
That game was... No, I wasn't. When it comes to Southampton, Tottenham, or Spurs, and West Ham, it's a 50-50 game. It's a game of anybody. And, in England, you must agree sometimes that home advantage is always 70%, So that's exactly what we saw. But maybe the scoreline 3-1 was a little flattery for Southampton. Maybe a 1-0, a 2-1 should have been a more respectable result. But overall, I think they did just good enough, to get to the next phase of the champions of the competition.
All right, Brownson. Well, let's talk about the region news in England at the moment, which is that Chelsea's owner Abramovich has put up Chelsea for sale for £3 billion. Well, let me ask you, what does the future now hold for Chelsea in the immediate and in the long term?
It's funny because most people would think that the announcement should have brought lots of excitement to some English fans. But I mean, the reactions we are seeing this morning, yesterday when the news broke, we were not very sure what to expect. But you see that even Chelsea fans are now looking at the possibility of them remaining the top club in England at this point. 20 years of Abramovich, we've seen 19 trophies, and we've seen 13 managers. That's to tell you that this man is a winner by nature. He doesn't take failure he doesn't glorify himself in it. So whether we agree or not, it doesn't matter the kind of billionaire that takes over this club, especially with the consortium we are hearing of 3 to 4 investors coming together. That, in my opinion, I think is what some clubs in England are suffering right now, where this person wants to invest, the other person doesn't want to invest. So I think this would affect Chelsea a big deal because, for instance, Abramovich can look at his back pocket and feels that he needs an Haaland, for instance, and then Borussia Dortmund is saying we need 100 million pounds, and then he doesn't think twice. He wants the guy, he pays. But Chelsea cannot have that kind of buying power right now in the market. We must agree that this sale is really going to be a very big blow, and I feel for Chelsea, I feel for Roman Abramovich, even though this is affecting most top Russians who have businesses. European Union has made it clear that their accounts are going to be frozen and doesn't want to fall in that category. So it's sad. It's sad for Chelsea and sad for Roman Abramovich.
All right.
Let's see. But I think this will affect the future of Chelsea.
All right, Brownson. Well, quite a number of hardliners and some British writers have been saying, look, Abramovich ought to face sanctions and all of that because of his links to Vladimir Putin at the moment. If that eventually happens, do you see a situation where well, Brownson, unfortunately. Okay, well, Brownson, okay, they asked me to go on now. Well, if that happens, do you see a situation where the UK government, takes over the control of, his assets in Britain?
In the parliament yesterday, it was discussed as a possible means. I mean, that was why, for the first time in a very long while, if you know Roman Abramovich well, he doesn't speak. In 20 years of ownership of Chelsea, he doesn't come to the media and speak, not even on social media, about the club. But he came out to say that that's one of the most painful decisions he may have to take. And I think if this is not done fast, and it's unfortunately that clubs, you don't sell clubs like fish or like pepper where you can just price and pay. So this thing takes months. And there are fears that if this process is not being facilitated, that it might be taken over. And I mean, we know what it means for the club. So yeah, it's a possibility, in my opinion.
All right. Well, we'll see how it all plays out in the coming days and months and all that. Well, that's it now on Sports. Brownson, I most thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us.